Folks, this was just too important to me, and I apologize for the inconvenience here, but this was way too important to me this morning. Last week, I told you something that I wanted you to watch for, okay? Last week, the President of the United States went out to Coraopolis, Pennsylvania. I think it's H&M Equipment or whatever, talked about the tax reform bill, and he brought Ken up, and we talked about Nancy Pelosi saying it was crumbs. Okay, crumbs, remember crumbs. Okay, there's two things I want you to remember. Crumbs, it's only crumbs, Nancy Pelosi. I'm telling you, I know where these people are always going, folks. Crumbs, she's from California. She's worth like $197 million. But I told you last week, I said, watch out, folks. Because what's going to happen is the state, the county, the city, the Board of Education, I'm not knocking any particular one. Everybody, I'm asking you to open your eyes to everybody will know one thing. You have more money. Taxation is a crime without a gun. I'm telling you right now, it's a crime without a gun. And Nancy Pelosi called it crumbs. She's from California, and they know you have money. California Democrats. Now, this is exactly, all right? I guess you would call it preaching if you would like. But I preach on a daily basis that in 2018, we have a couple things that we have to handle. One, we've got to send Republicans back, whether it upsets you or not. Okay, whether you argue that they're rhinos, regardless of what you do, we have to send Republicans back to the House. Nancy Pelosi she could not lift the gavel that she had with the Obamacare. Remember the big one? If you want to see how many of you remember the visual of the day that John Boehner handed Nancy Pelosi the gavel, I'm telling you we should play that. It's like a horror movie over and over and over the day, okay? You remember the days when George W. Bush had to give his speech, okay? And Nancy Pelosi sat back there. Now we're getting ready to go into the State of the Union address. There'll be a State of the Union address. It's the president, I'm going to say customarily, whether you argue if it's requirement or customary, but once a year, the President of the United States addresses the full body. Okay, I'm going somewhere with this, all right? He addresses the full entire body of Congress. And I love this as one of my favorites, and the chamber, the House chamber guy that's the head of the House chamber comes in and stands and says, the Vice President of the United States, the Supreme Court. And I like that, okay? You can call it silly or not, but I like that, okay? And you watch the Supreme Court come in and they take their seat, and then you watch the Vice President come in and take his seat, and then you watch the Speaker of the House and the Majority Leader. Now, focus in on me for a second, okay? Focus in on me for a second, okay? The first picture you see of the State of the Union address will be the President of the United States, the Speaker of the House, and the Majority Leader always set left and the Vice President. The Vice President and the Speaker of the House. Why the Vice President? A, he's the Vice President, and he presides over the Senate. Okay, I hope high school kids are getting this. Why the Vice President? Because he presides over the Senate. So what you're seeing, damn it, I wish people would get this through their head. What you're looking at and seeing are the branches of government in front of you. The Vice President presides over the Senate. That's why Mike Pence has to always be available to, he's not the majority leader, he presides over it. That's why Mike Pence has to always be available to cast a vote in case it's the tying vote. Okay, that's his chair. So when you're looking up there, you see his chair for that reason. That's Congress. You see the other chair is the House of Representatives, Speaker of the House. That's that branch. On the front row, you see the Supreme Court, and then right in front of you, you see the executive branch. I wish, damn it, that they would make the kids sit down and freeze that picture in front of them and actually explain to them that they are seeing the branches of government come together and address, this is the State of the Union. I wish they would. Now, that being said, whether you like it, stay with me. Focus on me for a minute, okay? Whether you like it or not, you're going to look up there and you're going to see Donald Trump. And then you're going to see Mike Pence. And then you're going to see Paul Ryan. Now, you don't have to like Paul Ryan, okay? You may want him gone. You may want Mark Meadows or Trey Gowdy, the list goes. You may want somebody, Jim Jordan out in Ohio. You may have a long list of people that you want to see in that chair other than Paul Ryan. But damn it, it sure as hell ain't Nancy Pelosi. You do not want to look at next year's State of the Union address and see Nancy Pelosi, Mike Pence, and Donald Trump. You don't want to do it. No matter what. Okay, hey, if I have to cheer for Paul Ryan, I'm sorry. If you do not like me right now, because I said I would rather see Paul Ryan sitting there, I'm sorry. I do know, for what it's worth, Paul Ryan did get a tax reform bill to the president's desk. I'm just saying. Now, get back to this. If you don't get fired up now and get out and get to work, state and national, you got a problem. Because, see, they want your state houses back. They want the governor's mansion back. They're working hard on that. Working hard. Because let me tell you why, okay? And watch the Republicans, too. I'm not saying don't watch the Republicans. California Democrats proposed business hike tax to mitigate tax cut impact. The Trump tax plan is going to hammer taxpayers and small businesses in the state of California and New York, where curbs on so-called SALT deductions and mortgage interest deductions will likely lead to net. To try to mitigate or even negate, okay, its impact, New York Governor Andrew Cuomo, California Governor Jerry Brown, and a handful of other governors have mused about workarounds that would help compensate taxpayers in the states for changes. Folks, if you make money in these blue states and you get to keep it, they are working now. This is the tip of what I told you. They are working now to take it from you. They actually are going to have the nerve, okay? Going one step further, Assemblyman Kevin McCarthy of Sacramento and Phil Ting of San Francisco introduced Assembly Constitution Amendment 22 last Thursday, an amendment that would raise corporate taxes on California companies with revenues higher than $1 million. The increase would be for an amount equivalent to half of what they received from the federal government tax cut, according to the Los Angeles Times. So, if these companies want to take the money and reinvest, if these companies, no matter, it's their money, if they get $1 million, the government's saying, split it with me. You need to split that with us. It's a windfall. It's never your damn money to them. It's never yours. It's a windfall. You accidentally worked your ass off today. You accidentally went to work. They accidentally paid you on Friday. Every single thing you do to get that money is a windfall. It's not by any means of what you did. You don't have to listen to me, but I'm telling you, I told you last week, they know you have more money. Watch and see what happens. Nancy Pelosi, Speaker of the House, Congresswoman from California, and the Crumbs. Why, they even want your crumbs. Don't you think a Republican, because you're going to say right now, well, that is the big business that's made over $1 million, so they're okay. They can split it. You take $500,000, I'll take $500,000. If you think they're done and they don't get the crumbs, because what'll happen now? Let me tell you how they're going to get your crumbs in these states. They're going to get your crumbs that Nancy Pelosi calls the $2,200. They're going to get those from some fees, okay? Watching your state how much it's going to go up to renew your driver's license. Watching the state how much it's going to go up to get a different kind of license. Watching the state how much it's going to cost at the gas pump. Maybe there's another 3-4 cents a gallon on gas. Watch and see, because what they know, we'll use Ken as an example. If they smell you've got $2,200 that you didn't have before, they're thinking you may have $2,200 that they could take. Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats want your crumbs. And yes, I called her Speaker of the House because that is the scary sight that you need to be left with. That's the picture you need to be left with, is the scary sight of Nancy Pelosi being Speaker of the House one more time. We know what happened last time. Don't let it happen, folks. I can't encourage you anymore to get behind your congressman, get behind your senator, if they're doing their job, or get out here and get to work to retain your House, your Senate, and your governor's mansion, your House, your Senate, and the White House. Or you're headed down the roads for big problems. Because if you don't think Nancy Pelosi wants your crumbs, you're badly mistaken. Let's take a break before I close up the show.